So, Frank, like, do you like sports?
Yeah, I do love sports, though I love football more. Right now, football is also fun, like what's happening.
Like, what? Just watching it.
Yeah, I just love watching it and following it up, though not playing it.
So
Right.
you've never participated like in sports in school or anything like
In
that?
school, I've ever, but that was way back in primary. We used to play football, and I was on the school team, but they put me in the goal.
Okay.
Though one gave me a hard shot and it broke my hand, so I've never seen my way in sports again. So football, so right now I'm just being a spectator, a fan, a follower.
So you don't participate in any sports since that time?
I was a very good skater.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. I was a very good skater, and I even have 2 medals.
In skating?
Yeah, in skating.
So you were competing, like competitions?
Yeah, we could go for competitions in school.
I've never seen that around here in schools, like where they compete in skating.
Yeah, but like they are not so serious for these street type of skating.
So what would you be like you guys doing to judge you like?
Still, of course, if we could go now, like for a basketball court, we went down and judge.
Like doing tricks or going around in competition?
Going around these circular ones. There were already lines drawn, but the lines were in circle form, and they could move around, so they could count the laps. If you're going in for 7 laps, on the 7th lap, the one who is number 1 on the finishing line, that one takes it.
So it's like speed?
Yeah,
okay.
So this is on your speed and the way you calculate the people, because in slight mistake, you're down. It's easy for you to fall.
That's one thing I've never tried before. Skating, as I used to do.
I'm so bad. I'm so bad at it.
But for us, it was becoming so risky. Yeah, I remember we lost a friend. Actually 2, and this is how I came
They
to
died?
live. Yeah, they died. I remember the first time Uganda got a golden medal for Chiprotich.
Oh, in the Olympics.
Yeah, so they told us to go and receive him, though they took the senior guys. For us, the juniors, we never went with them. So one of our senior skaters, as he was busy skating, like a stone accidentally went into the wheels of the skating. So it was this type of a rollerblade type. So it broke, and in breaking he was on a high speed. So by the time he comes to realize that it's broken, the taxi was already on him. So actually he split his brain in the front mirror of the taxi. Wow. And he was a very good guy at it. Actually, he was so experienced that you could stand there tall, and he could even jump over you in skates. So another one died still. It was a road accident. And my parents, also my older brother, they pushed me out of it. That's how I came to live.
So you know 2 people that died from skating?
Yeah, I know 2 people that died. The ones that were my closest friends, and the ones that I've seen dying of it are many. Yeah, we even have one around them.
Who died?
Yeah, died.
What about Sophie? You like watching
Yeah, I love
games
watching basketball. Actually, I love basketball so much. But I only played it once, like my 2nd year of high school, and I played for my team, but I was on the 2nd team. But I love it that I still go for all the games, whenever we have games like it. Have to make sure that I go for every game.
Actually, Sophie taught me how to be a basketball fan. Remember, our church had a basketball match, and we went there to support our team. But I didn't know what to say. when and how. So Sophie told me that when our side is attacking, you just like we had this saying, let's go save. So Sophie told me that when we are attacking, you just shout it and sing, let's go save. But when they are attacking us, you like defend. So that's what I learned in basketball, and how to shout at an opponent and you discourage him from scoring.
It's beautiful.
I also love a little bit of soccer. Like, okay, me with sports, even when I don't play the sport, but like, I don't know, I think sports is in me that I can even sit and watch like a soccer game, or I watch anything. If it has sports in it, I'll sit and watch it, and then I love watching sports. I hate fighting, but I watch wrestling.
So you don't like boxing and stuff?
I love boxing, but wrestling, it's so
By the way,
loud.
I used to love wrestling a lot since childhood.
But for us growing up in the like Pentecostal churches, like participating in sports was considered as a worldly thing. Like those are the things of the world. You know, like in the beginning of the Pentecostal church here in Uganda, but you know that some people are kind of like radicals. You know, more like more. It's it's like more about spiritual stuff. So if you participate like in sports, like those are worldly things, you don't need to participate.
So
So
if you go for soccer, you have no position in church.
Because I remember I remember a church which was having like a soccer team, and other people used to judge them and say, you know, instead of participating in the kingdom stuff, business, they're like now in the world doing worldly things. Like,
so it's like if you were to be involved like in athletics or anything, you'd just be like an outcast.
Yeah. You know?
So meaning if you either choose I'm going to be in church or I'm going to go in for soccer.
Yeah, it was about spiritual stuff. Don't.
So how could you enjoy?
You know,
How could you enjoy being born again during that time?
you just have to enjoy the church stuff.
The church stuff.
You know, what considered even like, but when you look at it, like even those things belong to the church, because there isn't like any evil thing in participating in sports. So the churches should even like use those platforms more.
That's right.
To reach out to other people, because there isn't like any evil things. First of all, it keeps you in shape as a person participating in, you know, in any sports. You know, even like your mind stays sober and sharp. You know, but I don't remember growing up in the church. I don't remember any like people going out to work out. You know.
Yeah, actually, you've ever told us that during that time when you grew up, like people weren't proud of being called pastors.
No, it was, you know, like it was kind of like, because first of all, like for us growing up in the church, the kids at school used to tease us about like if they know you're locally, you're born again, they'll call you names, you know, because like the church was poor first of all, you know, there wasn't any church which had a building, you know, the churches were poor, so it was considered something for the poor people or uneducated, like, to be born again. It wasn't an in thing. Right now for you guys, it's an in thing to go to those churches, participate in stuff, but then there wasn't anything flashy like now, you know. So like to even say somebody to say "Kama yebaziwe to you," you like kind of shy. you kind of shy away. Who's watching to say?
You could freak out.
Yebaziwe, like you don't want people to even hear you saying like "Kama yebaziwe," because like that's like shaming you.
Then
and stuff.
Was it
So how was your dress code as Christians? Because if they may have been so cautious about even sports then how was that dress code?
That, of course, very conservative and strict about it, which is still okay, because now if you look at how some people dress in the church.
True.
It's not, yeah.
Yeah, I would go with them about the dress code. I would be on their side, but about the sports and.
But you wouldn't even have like that hairstyle, like the haircut like that. Because for me, I remember when I was I used to have both, like my hair used to be like the afro, like Azaria's. Then I started like getting those haircuts. I have a funny story about
The haircut.
but I'll tell you that after. But like you couldn't have when we first started cutting our hair like that, like having a fade on the side, the hairstyle was called French cut for some reason. I don't know how it came to be called French cut. And I have a funny story about that. Because when I first traveled and went to Canada, then I went to the barber shop. I don't know if Isaiah told you this story. When I went to the barber shop, the barber asked me, how do you want your hair to be like cut? I told him a French cut.
What is
French.
the
I was like, this was like a Jamaican barber shop. That was one of the biggest embarrassments for me. Because I came, when I went from here going there, I thought like, the number of French cut. I don't know which fool came up with that. Like calling like our haircuts French cut.
So,
How does it even connect? French cut.
what did the guy ask you?
So the guy was like, what? And like for us here, kind of quiet, the way we talk.
Yeah.
But like Americans and Canadians, like they are loud. So like for you, kind of like polite, like French cut. Because here we are taught to be, to talk the way we talk. You're not, if you are loud, for us, it's considered being rude.
Yeah.
And for them, like, French what? And then when he did that, I even kind of like,
Shaky,
like I was French guy. It's like,
Actually,
teasing me.
actually here in Uganda,
So why would you even think like French cut for, this would be called size explaining that, that's how what we call it
So he gave
over
you
there.
the
And
cut.
so that's a
like
fade.
the fade.
It's a fade.
fade.
That's a fade.
I never hear people call it.
So-
a fade here,
So there's a lot of like words or whatever can be used here, and you think, oh, you know what? Like when you are around Americans, they would know about it. That's when you get embarrassed. It's the same thing with accents, making an accent. I hear a lot of people like thinking that it's cool. It's cool when you are among your own people who think like, yeah, that's how you should sound.
Some good accent.
And then when you go, you're looking at like, what? This is what they do. This is what like. This is another thing which happened to me, because I was so like when I was young, I thought I can sound like Black Americans. But then you get embarrassed when they go like, oh, where are you from? Because the moment you try to fake, somebody already know. Hey, can hear it's like, where are you from? Then you have to explain where you're from. That's put you in your place. So,
explaining.
so since that time,
When you're speaking.
since that time,
So
I
you
never
just own
tried to
yourself.
fake. I just, and other people think it's like, I hear a lot of like young people who fake accent, and other people think, wow, that it's really cool. Yeah, it's cool around the people who don't really.
But a lot of the time, those things like they come from like not being proud of like what you are, where you're
Yeah,
from. Like,
but when
so
when
why
you
not
really
be
get-
just proud of your heritage, where you're
Yeah.
from?
Like sometimes it happens here in schools where you want to be cool,
Yeah.
you want to feel yourself, then you come in with that accent,
Mhm.
and you're the cool, you're the star around.
Mm.
But then when you get there,
Mm.
and they get to you,
Mm.
it's the other way around.
Sorry, Millie.
And what's funny is that if you were to go to the States or something, and you were to have an accent, then people would be like, I really like your accents. Like, all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like, where are you from? Like, I like your accent
yeah,
so
because
much.
because also with Americans, they all have different accents too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there's places you can go, like let's say to Texas, like Americans from New York, they sound different. Americans from Minnesota sound different. They
Yeah.
can also tell that you are not from that place, though you are speaking like you are an American. They will say like,
Yeah, but isn't the Ugandan accent so hard to understand that side.
It can be, of course. It can.
You know what? I used to think like all Americans speak the same because it's
No,
English.
no. There's like when some of the black people speak, some of the white people wouldn't even understand them. Because I remember one time we're in Florida. I remember Zaria when that guy came to cut trees and stuff. He was a black guy, and I had to interpret for Grandpa.
Oh yeah.
And yes, was the guy
You couldn't understand what this guy was saying, and they are both Americans.
Was he speaking so faster? Or?
There's there's like
Words, the mix of
deep
words.
accents, and how they sound like black Americans from the South. They sound different from others and stuff.
That's a surprise. I thought they all speak the same. Like here in Uganda, you know, when you're speaking Uganda, everyone gets to know the words that you say.
Yeah, but also the Baganda also they used to have, like, they have what I would say, accents, so different phrasing of the words. Those from Masaka and other areas.
So Papa, beginning on that very point. So how did you, because by the time you went to Canada, it was so rare here in Africa travel. And actually that was a very big blessing here to travel.
Hey, listen, if you traveled at the time I traveled, not just in your neighborhood, but you know, even the other neighborhoods will hear about it. Like
so how did you feel about yourself?
Especially like going to Europe or in America, that was like a big deal to go there in the 80s and 90s. Like you are talked about like as a hero being celebrated. Hey, you'll be celebrated. Like talk about like celebrities, you'll be celebrated. But it was that was one of the most beautiful things, like to travel, because it was a big dream for us growing up to travel, go out of Uganda, and how and being young, and also of what was happening around. That was like the only way out, you know.
Like how did you handle? Okay, currently we call them the lights. You know, the spotlight
to handle the big lights.
Yeah. How did you handle the big lights? Because like me, I would say like, when I get there, you know, I'm going to be there. I'll let the whole world know that I'm there. But then my father has a lot. He has been through a lot, and and the way he handles stuff. If it was me at that age and I go there, I would be like, okay, now I've reached where I want to be, and I live a good best life. And I don't think it would end up being the good best life. So like, how did you go with it being?
First of all, what was another blessing for us that we knew the Lord.
Wow.
Even during that time, so we stayed grounded by that. You know, we stayed in the church, we stayed in the Word, so we kept the discipline also. So knowing the Lord was the key, I think.
Wow, that's great.
But there's what they call like backsliding. Even our backsliding wasn't like way off. Maybe backsliding in a way of like not be staying on so much fire, because sometimes the fire can kind of, but not going all the way off. And also being like, also from the sports background, we stayed with that also, because we were in boxing before we traveled, and we carried that on even over there. So talking about the big lights, we're in the big lights in the big cities.
So it's like, is what you're saying like something that you have to like have something or like multiple things to keep you focused that you like move towards instead of just being aimless?
Because sometimes what happens, like I always tell mostly the young people about dreams. You know, dreams will help like keep you in order, because you protect yourself if you keep focus on your dreams, because you want to achieve it. So if you go off, then you won't achieve it. You know, that's why it's very important to always be inspired within your own self by your dreams. Yeah.
And by the way, you going to the States by that time, it was something so big, and you had that dream since childhood. But you had that dream in a moment whereby it was an impossible dream to have. Actually, you always tell us that you dreamed while still in darkness.
Yeah.
So right now there are people that are having big dreams, and someone is dreaming big. Someone is in a deeper slum village of Karamoja, but that person is dreaming of being a world champion like Messi. So how can someone achieve that? Like the way you achieved going to America in a time when it was hard and close to being impossible.
Of course, believing in yourself first, that you can, and believing that it's possible, first of all. Sometimes we talk about those dreams, but when situations challenge us, we give up on those things. Like thinking maybe it can't happen. Even other people can discourage you. That, you know, there's always people who are going to encourage you or discourage you. So it also depends on who you're paying attention to, on the words they say, and stuff. You know.
That's great, because I think when I was talking to Zarian from, I have this issue of where I can start up like something, and then I bring it on table, and someone says it's not nice, it's not what, and I get like 10 people. Even I drop off that thing, even when I know that I can do better. Even when I get a new mind about it, I'll be like, no, I'm not going into this. But then, like, I've seen you push in everything. Like, what's that inside thing that even when someone says this is ugly, this is what, like even when you have 5 people discouraging you, for you keep pushing, you keep running for that thing.
From my experience of like me dreaming that one day, from when I was a teenager, when I knew that I wanted to, like, the woman I wanted to be with, in like my dreams, I was having a knowing that she is gonna be an American, my wife. So for us, like you see COVID right now, from the time when I was a teenager, that's like in the early 80s, it was AIDS. Selim, that's when Selim came in and stuff. So, and I knew that you can catch that from sleeping around. So I knew that if I sleep around, I can end up catching AIDS and not get my dreams. So that helped me to keep me away from running with girls, because I know that when I do that, that's not the time for it. Then I might end up catching anything. Then I won't even fulfill it. I won't even like go to the stage. You know?
But that's a good point, because, you know, like a lot of people will kind of be like, you know, I know that God has a plan for me, so then they'll go and do whatever they want. Instead of staying focused, like you have to still like stay focused on what like you're supposed to do in order to achieve those goals or those dreams that you have.
And sometimes we come in with, God gave me a choice to do what I want.
And also like the thing you say about like what you see or what you hear me talking about, like about the possibilities and stuff. From my story is really beautiful, because I'm talking about like working on stuff when, like, first of all, I didn't know anybody over, like when I was going to Canada, my trip, I didn't even know where I was going. Nobody like was there to welcome me or worked on my stuff to go. You know, I found my way out. I got a visa. So when I got a visa at that time, the time I was given a visa to travel, it was 2 weeks. The visa was for 2 weeks. So the passports were sent back through the consulate here in Kampala. So that's where you go to pick it up. But by the time I knew that the passport was back, I was having 5 days left on the visa and I didn't have the ticket. Okay, I didn't have the money. And then getting a ticket here in Uganda was very expensive, and they said there's cheaper. You can get a cheaper ticket in Nairobi. I've never been out of the country before that time. Okay, I have no money. By the time I get to Kenya, I was having 3 days on my visa. Okay, then it's a long story, beautiful story, but my visa expired while I was in Nairobi. Yeah, and I have a beautiful story about how I ended up getting my visa renewed and traveling, which I will go into at the time.
Wow, this was Father Time by the Fire. Hope it's been so nice, and to me it was so fantastic having that feel of being with a dad and your questions being answered. So it's every Thursday at 8 p.m. Send in your question. It will be answered and read out here on the program. Invite a friend, and also that friend must invite a friend. Father Time by the Fire. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Tune in.